I've been doing quite a bit of traveling recently, and when I travel, I have to introduce myself to people and tell them what the Franciscan Friars of the Immaculate do. And since we are all about promoting consecration to Our Lady, I frequently have to explain consecration to Our Lady to the people that I meet. In doing so, I usually try to share 3 simple biblical reasons with people to, let's say, convince them why they too should consecrate themselves to our Blessed Lady. Again, 3 biblical reasons, 1, 2, and 3, and these 3 I'll share with you today. My name is Father Matthias, and this is Marian Maximalism. The first fundamental reason why we should consecrate ourselves to our Blessed Lady is that Jesus wants us to do so. Where do we get this in the Bible? Well, John 19:27. In John 19:27, we see our Lord crucified, dying for love of us, and at the foot of his cross, we see John and Mary. And Jesus, seeing his disciple and seeing Mary, says to Mary, "Behold your son," and to the disciple, "Behold your mother." John Paul II calls that the first ever act of entrustment, the first ever act of consecration. And it's done not by John, not by Mary, but by Jesus himself. The initiative comes not from the disciple, not even from Mary, but it comes from Jesus himself. The church doesn't invent consecration to Our Lady. Neither does Our Lady herself, but it's Jesus who comes up with this amazing idea. And we know that in speaking to John, who's the only apostle there, he speaks to the entire church. So our Lord, in entrusting John to Mary, entrusts all his disciples to Mary. He wants all of us to be consecrated to Our Lady. And in speaking to Our Lady, "Behold your son," he wants Mary to be the mother of all his disciples in the church. So reason number 1, Jesus wants it. The second reason is that there's actually something big at stake here. And we find this in the Bible at the wedding in Cana. So John, beginning of chapter 2. We see that our Lord is invited to a wedding feast, and he's not there alone. He is there with his mother. And because his mother is there, a miracle occurs. Because Our Lady is invited by that couple, she makes herself a part of their life. She pays attention to their life. She pays attention even to the least details of their life. And she notices the wine is running out. And she intercedes with our Lord to obtain a miracle to provide for the lack of wine. Now think about it this way. Our Lord tells Our Lady, "My hour has not yet come," but for her sake he performs the miracle, which means that if Our Lady had not been there, had Our Lady not been invited, there would have been no miracle. The wedding still would have happened, but it would have been a sad wedding without the choice wine. When Our Lady is there, when Our Lady is invited, the wine doesn't run out. In fact, the good wine comes out. The choice graces are at stake here. Jesus cares about whether Mary is a part of our life or not, whether we have invited Mary into our lives or not. In fact, he cares so much that he will not give us certain graces. He will not give us the choice wine unless we are consecrated to his mother, unless she is invited, unless he sees her in our life. The third reason to consecrate yourself to Our Lady is that the outcome is sanctification. Our Lady never takes us away from our Lord, but makes us perfectly like him. And we see this still at the wedding in Cana. This is the only time that Our Lady ever gives anybody a command, and the only command she speaks, you remember it, she says, "Do whatever he tells you." Our Lady commands the servers to carry out the will of our Lord. When we consecrate ourselves to Our Lady, when we tell her, "You command, you govern my life, you do with me what you please," the only thing Our Lady commands us is, "Do the will of Jesus, and I will help you to do it." And we know that perfect conformity with the will of Jesus is holiness itself, sanctity itself. So, the final outcome of consecration to Our Lady is perfect Christification, perfect conformity to the will of our Lord, perfect holiness itself. So, let's recap Reason number 1, Jesus wants you to do it. He said so from the cross. Reason number 2, he gives the choice graces only to those who are consecrated to his mother. He gives the good wine only to those who have invited his mother and their mother into their lives. Reason number 3, Our Lady sanctifies us perfectly. When we submit ourselves to her authority, when we let her command and rule our life, she makes sure that we do the will of our Lord and that we do it with joy. So, are you consecrated to Our Lady? If you're not, I hope you will consecrate yourself to her. And if you already are, live your consecration faithfully. There's every good reason to do so.